can see. Yeah. So thanks for the opportunity to present to the group. As everybody has said, right? Digitalization of roads has become a very hot topic in research recently. So the topic of my presentation is that you can see it's about machine learning analysis on modeling road asset deterioration. So I make it quite fit with the group title, AMAG, so asset modeling analysis. So I put a machine learning analysis on road asset modeling. Um, but so I can show you the outline of the talk today. So I'll just give you a very quick um, introduction of the background of the study, and then I will talk you through the basics of machine learning. So although nowadays many research have been done using machine learning or AI in the pavement engineering domain, but I think it would be good to know what it is. So what is machine learning like, and how it works actually. So I like to take the opportunity just to give you some basic understanding, basic concepts, because I don't know people in the room how much you know machine learning. So I assume about zero zero knowledge as when I started. So I like to just talk you through the very basic concept of machine learning, and then I introduce you to most common machine learning algorithms used in pavement engineering so far, which is ANN and random forest. And I will describe how it works in a very layman term, very basic terms. Now finish with these limitations and issues and leading towards a more next step of the machine learning and research in pavement engineering. So moving on to the next slide is next slide is yeah I just um, so this is the background of the PhD. It's really like Lilio also everyone else has shared about this current hot topic in research is moving away from material side of pavement engineering to data science, how we can use data or make use of data to um, manage our pavement in a better way or more innovative way to address the challenges we have been having in recent years. So we have seen the improvement, technical improvement in data, in machine learning, also in digital twins, such the technologies. So we want to investigate or explore this technology in the application of pavement management, for example, to make a more reliable deterioration model. So this is the background. And I have developed a theoretical framework of digitalization of roads. And then I would like to just highlight these three main components. The different boxes are different components within this theoretical framework. And the boxes highlighted are basically to the left is data. So we collect data in order to develop any digital twin, you need data. So we have historical data, and from the data that we have collected, we can use that data to build models in this data-driven box. You can use that data to build machine learning models after cleaning of the data. And on the other hand, there's also physics-based model that is more based on physics, the material, and ideally in a digital twin, you could actually combine these two together. But to start with, machine learning itself is to really look into the data. It is a very powerful tool to actually identify patterns and trends that it's very difficult to be done in human efforts. So this is the main components of a rosio train as part of a big framework. But in this presentation, I would like just to narrow it down to this data-driven box and machine learning itself. Will be the focus of the presentation. Yeah, if you have any questions, please just interact me and feel free to ask. And then because looking at the time, I would like to just quickly talk you through. Yeah. So this is a very more simplified methodology of machine learning. If you say I want to develop machine learning model, how do you do it? So this is a very basic pipeline. If I say I want to develop a machine learning model, these are the steps you would take. So you collect data, could be a historical data, like we saw in the previous slide. You go to a public database, you collect some data. For example, a condition of a road or traffic. You collect that data. Then you do some pre-processing, cleaning of the data. Then you choose important features. You don't use all the data, you use some of it, subset of it. That's preparation stage. And after that, you think your data is kind of prepared, ready, and then you can choose the machine learning model, and then you develop a model, you build a model. This is a very simple because there are source codes, there are packages online, you just use them. You don't need to develop from scratch. They are already there, you just need to write one line of code and the model will be built. But this is just a simple like a pipeline of a machine learning model development. Afterwards, you can evaluate the machine learning model's performance and even including the consideration of uncertainty and probability. But that is not necessarily, and does not necessarily need to be included. So this is a very basic a kind of pipeline of machine learning development. Then so in this talk, I just want to briefly talk you through about what is machine learning. We want to look a bit deep inside and then see, what is it, what exactly it is, and how it works, so we can better use machine learning in our studies. So this I took some slides from another group, which is publicly online. So I think it's quite good summary. So machine learning, in my view, is a branch of AI, and it's just to mimic human brain, human thinking, but to enable machine to mimic human activity, human intelligence. That is AI, and machine learning is to discover some algorithms by looking at the inputs and outputs. So traditionally, as someone studying computer science, I was only taught to do the traditional programming. So you give me some data, input data, and also tell me how to manipulate the data. So I need to have the logics in my mind and write the algorithms to the machine, and the machine will give me an output. That is how normally, traditionally programming is done. But what's new about machine learning is you don't tell the machine what to do or how to do it, but you just tell the machine the inputs, and also you tell the machine the outputs. And then the machine will somehow identify an algorithm based on the inputs and output you feed to the machine. So that's I see the difference. But mostly it's the math behind. So using math to identify an algorithm without explicitly programming it. And so this is AI, and then the purpose of machine learning. So why do we use machine learning? To solve two types of problems. One is to classify things, and one is to make a prediction. This is a regression problems. So if you want to predict the weather tomorrow or next week, or you want to predict like classify your email, for example, spam or not spam. These are all different purposes of machine learning. So this, as you can see, it's very clear, two different types of problem it tries to solve. And then here different types of machine learning. And so the most common one is the first one, supervised. So you basically, you tell the machine what it is. So you can show the machine a picture of a dog, and then you tell this is a dog. That means it's labeled, it's supervised. It means like you're teaching a child, the parents tell the child what it is. And unsupervised is it's a kind of different. So basically, it means that you don't tell the machine what it is and let the machine to find out. So I wouldn't go deeper into this. I would just focus on the first type of machine learning, which is supervised learning, which is most commonly used type of machine learning. And also, if we zoom into pavement engineering domain, as far as I know, according to the literature I've seen, mostly used machine learning techniques are supervised, and then they are ANN and random forest. So because of these are the two most used and traditionally used, very popular in pavement engineering domain so far. So I would like to give you a very quick introduction of these two algorithms and how they work. So as we know, the machine learning is to discover algorithm from input and output. So neural network is one type of machine learning. So neural network is like you can see on the picture from the left, it falls within machine learning. It's just one type of machine learning algorithms, and it has this input layer, output layer, and hidden layer. It simulates human brain, and in terms of how it works. And you may have heard of deep learning. So throughout this presentation, I just also want to make it very clear, like what the relationship between this buzzword. So machine learning is part of AI, and then neural network is part of machine learning. Then deep learning is even more narrowed down, a part of neural networks. The only difference is that the deep learning basically means it has many hidden layers, not just one layer or two layers, but many layers. That's what it is. That's why it's deep learning. It's called deep learning. That's the difference. Main difference in terms of its architecture. Has many hidden layers in between. So I just talked to you how it works in very simple terms. So as you can see, it has input layer and output layer, and everything in between are hidden layers, right? And then each line between the input layer and the hidden layer, each line has a weight, And then these weights will be calculated to this green circle, which is in the hidden layer. So each circle is like a neural. Neural, you can think of it as a function, just a mathematical function, basically. And then the weights will be part of the equation, like activation function, for example, just a mathematical function. But if you change that weight, it will influence the output of that function. That's how you update the neural network. That's how it works. So basically, important things, they have the weights, and then you pass through a function, basically a mathematical function to produce an output. So each green circle will do that, will give you an output. And then eventually, this will keep on producing the output as different layers goes, keep moving on until it moves to the output layer, which is the red circle, right? And then from the red circle, it will give you the final output. That's basically it. It just keep on producing output depending on that weight. So you have a weight, and then that is part of an equation. So this is nonlinear. The function itself is nonlinear, so it's very useful for nonlinear problems. And this could be a bit difficult to explain in a very simplified term, but basically, so there's a thing called forward propagation. So when you input the data from the input layer, it goes through this neural network from left to the right. And then each hidden layer, given the weights, it will give you an output from each green circle. And then every green circle will give you an output. And then this output will be keep moving forward to the right. And then it will give you a predicted output. And that predicted output will be compared to the real output. And then do a minus to compare the difference between the predicted output versus the actual output. So that is the loss function. So see how much difference is my neural network's output compared to the real output. So that is the loss function. The whole point of neural network, the training of the neural network, is to reduce that loss to become zero, or to its minimum. So the aim of training is to reduce the loss function to minimum. So every cycle of training, we will back propagate. When we do the back propagation, we try to adjust the weights so that the loss, the error is reduced every time. So that's the training of the neural network. It comes many epochs. But the main goal is to reduce the loss function by updating and adjusting these weights during the training. So second time you update the weights, and then the loss function the loss should reduce slightly, and then you keep doing that. Then the weights keep on being changed, and then the loss continue to be reduced. So that's kind of how it works in a high level. So the math functions here is quite hard to understand in the first place. But the thing we need to understand is basically in every training of this algorithm, the weights gets updated so that the error is reduced. So that is for ANN, what it is and how it works. And then another algorithm I want to quickly talk you through is the random forest. So many people may have heard of random forest, but it's basically an enhanced version of decision trees and leveraging a technique called bagging, which is one of the ensemble techniques. So you may wonder what are these terms. So I can give you a quick explanation. So decision trees, like if else, right? That's decision tree. That's what we do in the daily life. If this time we do this, right? That's a decision tree. Bagging is a bootstrap application. I will explain to you very soon. Ensemble techniques is basically combining multiple models together. So random forest is completely different from neural networks. Completely different technique to tackle machine learning. So a different way. It's called ensemble techniques, which is basically combining multiple models. In random forest example, in particular, here we can decision trees is like this, right? If yes or no, yes or no. And then if you build a decision tree, you can go very deep, very deep. So it knows your data very well. It has low bias. But when you apply this decision tree to a new data set, it has high variance. It changes a lot because it only knows the data you have shown to him. So random forest kind of overcomes this drawback, this limitation, by using multiple decision trees. So it's called bootstrap. Bootstrap basically divides your data set into multiple data sets. So you have one data set. Instead of build a thorough decision tree, it samples your data multiple times so that it results in multiple different sub data sets. So one big data set is divided into different sets. And then that is called bootstrap. So basically you open up your data set into multiple subsets. That is called bootstrap. And then using those sub data sets, you can build different decision trees. Multiple of them could be 100 or 200 that you can define yourself. And then each decision tree will give you a prediction results. Then you combine them together. That's called aggregation. So from your data set, you open up into multiple data sets, and then each decision tree based on that sub data set will give you a result. And then, as part of random forest, you average all the results together. That is aggregation. So bootstrap aggregation, that is bagging. That is one of the ensemble techniques combining multiple models. In this way, you reduce the high variance to low variance. So that's the enhancement of random forest. And that's why many people or researchers would like to use random forest because it's stable. It overcomes many issues in machine learning, in a certain way. So this is a very simple explanation of what random forest does. And then it's coming to the final slide now. So although machine learning techniques seem to be powerful and solves many issues, and it also produces high prediction accuracy, according to literature and existing research, but it has issues, it has limitations. For example, it's very difficult to generalize the model. It's only built on the data it has seen. So whenever you give new data, which falls outside the range of data the model has seen, it's difficult to perform very well. We have seen this in many occasions, that the prediction becomes very far away from the reality when the data comes, the data that is something the model has never seen before. And then another issue is that it's very difficult to understand the causal relationship because the data that you collected, we don't know if they are physically caused by one another. So machine learning does not take this into account. So it's a black box nature. Although this random forest, you can look into it and try to understand a bit more, but you wouldn't understand the underlying physics behind the data and the machine learning. And then that's why more recently, there's a new kind of research topic across many engineering domains, mechanical, electronical, and also civil engineering as well, to look into this physics enhanced machine learning, or physics informed neural network, to include physics into machine learning to address this limitation, the issue that machine learning has, and try to, because in engineering domain, there's a lot of physical understanding that across many years, before machine learning started to become a buzzword, there's so many existing research done on physics. So that's why there's a kind of a merge of machine learning and physics at the moment to try to make machine learning models more interpretable and also expandable, and also enhance the machine learning prediction in general, also physically consistent. Yeah, I think that's all for my presentation.
Thank you very much. Any question?